Hi everyone. Thank you for watching. By law, I have to tell you that this is for entertainment purposes only. All videos are property of Psychic Liz Cross, LLC. Thank you.
Hey everybody, welcome back. It's Mr. Reality and Psychic Medium Liz Cross. How are you doing?
Oh, I'm excited to see what Henry VIII has to tell us
This
today.
weekend is Henry VIII 535th birthday, and karma. He murdered two of his wives, beheaded them. A couple of his wives died. I think he had seven wives, and he actually married his oldest brother's wife when he died. His oldest brother died of, they said, sweating sickness, which I don't know, sounds crazy to me, but I wonder if we could bring in Henry VIII, find out if he's incarnated now. What's he been doing? Does he feel bad? Is he as horrible a person as history makes him out to be, or worse?
Okay, where should we start? I have him here.
Is he alive now?
No.
When was the last time he incarnated? And did he have to pay any recompense for the 50,000 people he murdered in his lifetime?
Did you, all right, when was the last time he died not too long ago in the was that your second lifetime since being Henry VIII? No, that was his how many? Fourth lifetime since being Henry VIII.
It's a while back. But did he have to pay any, piper for that?
Oh yeah, definitely.
So let's talk about the last couple lifetimes. What did he have to do? Did he have any relationships with, his previous wives? And did he have to talk to them? So here's the list of wives. Catherine of Aragon, they were divorced. And then Anne Boleyn, he beheaded. Jane Seymour died. Anne of Cleves divorced. He beheaded Katherine Howard and survived Catherine Parr.
Wow, that's quite a list. Did you have any of those lives post Henry VIII with your previous wives? Catherine of Aragon, yes. They had children in the next lifetime, but he died early in that lifetime, and she was left to deal and raise the children. Were you royalty in that lifetime? No, they were dirt poor in that lifetime, and they were on the brink of starvation, which is actually why he left early in that lifetime because of malnutrition.
Comical because he, was 400 pounds when he died, actually. So it's
Mm.
one extreme to the other, I guess. But that lifetime, what motivated him to be such a tyrannical tyrant? What motivated him to be such a philanderer and horrible person?
Mm. How, why were you the way you were as Henry VIII? He was a tyrant. He admits that. It was in my blood, it was in my veins. But why? Because he was very entitled growing up, he says, and he never got in trouble. He was allowed to be as horrible as he possibly could to the staff, to anyone. He started having sexual relations with the staff at a very early age. How old were you? He said he was about 9 years old when he was forcing the female staff where in the castle or his home, his home, forcing them to perform sexual acts on him.
Was that at the
Um,
direction of his father or the staff? I mean, was that commonplace in that era?
Very common. His father was the same. Okay, so his father encouraged him, encouraged sexual relations in the home with the staff. Yes, and that is what I mean. Obviously, that is what psychologically warped him, is what he just said.
So where does the deviation then come from Henry VII?
The deviation come from Henry VII. He grew up in a similar way.
Is that
He grew up in is very similar circumstances. Just,
and I
women were objects to be used. They were there to fulfill a purpose and one purpose only, and that was it.
So upon his death, I guess, King Henry VIII, did he then meet any of the wives that he beheaded? And what was his real reason for beheading them? Did they say something or make him feel belittled in some way?
Did you see? Anne Boleyn or Katherine Howard in the afterlife. Yes, he says we're old soulmates. And how did that make you feel? No, he didn't have any feelings about it. You know, everything's washed away when you get to the spirit world. That was the contract they all made. And so what will happen? What happened in the life review? I mean, the life review showed that he did inflict a lot of pain upon his people, upon his servants. The servants were not paid. They were actually treated very much like slaves.
So is Anne Boleyn here? Can she tell us what precipitated her
Hmm.
beheading?
Can you tell us what happened? Well, she was ill. She's showing me that and what do you mean by that? She really wasn't well at all. And he was tired of her not being feeling well. And he just thought that she was useless. So, I mean, she's showing me like a lot of vomiting. She's showing me a lot of um almost like flu-like symptoms. She really, really was not well at all. Some days she could not get out of bed. She, he couldn't touch her. You know, again, just an object to be used and abused. There was no relationship there. There was no I love you, anything like that. It was you're here to serve me.
And so is it that does she understand why it happened? I mean, is she angry about this? It seems like horrific to us from this era.
No, once she got in the afterlife, no, she wasn't angry. She was actually glad to be there. She was dying anyway, she says.
From
What were you dying from? Pneumonia. She had pneumonia, and what else? She had a few things going wrong. She was also trying to fight off sepsis as well, or a
not
form
hard to
of,
do without antibiotics, I would say.
yeah. And so, what did you feel when you were being beheaded? Like, were you terrified? Yeah, she was terrified. And how did you feel about Henry VIII right before that moment? She couldn't understand why this was being done. She didn't understand what she did wrong. She didn't understand how she betrayed him as a wife. She did the best she could. She doesn't understand this at all. But once it happened, did you actually feel it? No. Her soul left the body right before, she was beheaded.
Okay, she didn't have any consciousness of that. What about Jane Seymour? How did her relationship with King Henry?
How was your relationship? It was terrible. I mean, he was really, she says he was messing around with so many, and I was supposed to tolerate that, which she did. She was quiet. She did not criticize. She did not speak unless she was spoken to. She very much knew her place. She knew that he would behead her. That was something that was very relevant to her. She also said he didn't give her a choice to marry him. It was, you will be my wife.
Yeah, the next day. So there's some threat right there.
Yeah.
Not a lot of time for mourning. Oh, yesterday I beheaded my wife. Do you want to get married? Sure. Sounds like a great idea.
Yeah, it wasn't that he didn't ask her. He told her, "Well, you're my wife. Like you
And
will
how
be
many
my
times
wife."
has she
Or
incarnated with King Henry?
did you incarnate with him after? No, they haven't had another lifetime together yet.
Let's go to Anne of Cleves and ask her. Tell us about your relationship with King Henry and before in that incarnation.
What was your relationship like with King Henry? Now she escaped. She escaped. That's how they were able to get divorced. She had to go into hiding. She's saying, you had to go in. Yes, she had to go into hiding, change her identity, and all of that.
She turned to salt, if you will.
Yes, yes,
Um,
exactly.
and how long did she live after she escaped?
She ended up living, she says, quite a decent amount of time. She remarried.
Did anyone know?
Did anyone know that? I mean, there were speculations that, she was his previous wife, but not confirmed.
And so moving on to Katherine Howard, who was a teenager and abused in her lifetime. What was going on with her in that relationship?
Ooh, Catherine Howard. What happened? He hated her. She was defiant. She was rebellious. He actually hated that he liked her. And he found her quite intoxicating. But she was a nonconformist. She would not be held down. She spoke her mind, and that's what got her into a lot of trouble.
Yes, it resulted in her losing her head. So, what was that final act of defiance that she made that forced him to do this? Well, not really
Hmm.
forced him, but turned, I mean, this is not justified, I'm saying what turned the crazy man over the edge to think, I know, I'll get rid of her this way.
What was the final thing? She refused to sleep with him. She said he smelled, he didn't bathe, he had been with lots of other women, and he expected her to be with him as well, as he didn't, as he was he wasn't he was dirty, and she didn't want to touch him. He was vile, and that was it. He gave her a few chances, and he says, "You will do this. You're just young. You're
Did he
just being defiant." And she would not give in to that.
did she know about the previous wife? Did she think that could have been an outcome for her?
Yes, she knew, but she thought that she could escape. She knew that the other wife had escaped, and she was plotting her escape as well. Did he know that? She wasn't aware at the time that he knew that, but he actually knew, which is part of the reason he beheaded her.
And the
Oh,
relationship, going into that relationship, I guess from a soul point of view, why did you agree to, hey, this will be an idea. I will go into this lifetime, marry the King of England, and then become beheaded? Like, who sold that idea to you?
sold that idea to you. I mean, it was on the table that this was going to happen. He needed someone to volunteer for the role. They had not had previous lifetimes together. They This was their first and last lifetime, she said. But didn't that create a karmic
Yes.
deficit loop? She says it has, but she's trying to get out of that. She is adamant. She's still very rebellious. She is adamant that she does not want to have another lifetime with him.
Is
She
she
can't
incarnated now?
stand it. Oh, are you incarnate? Yes, she is, and she has two children by his brother. Oh my God.
Really?
Yes.
And that's, an interesting question there. So that's Henry VIII brother who died, but she's still in that soul unit then.
Yes. Yes, she is.
Hmm.
Wow.
I don't know if that's going to help you or hinder you in that idea there. He also murdered Thomas Cromwell, who was one of his closest advisors. What did Thomas Cromwell do to you?
Oh, what did Thomas Cromwell do to you? What did he do? Well, so according to Henry VIII, he's saying he betrayed me, but Thomas Cromwell is saying no, no, that's not true.
What does Thomas Cromwell say the reason was for it?
What was the reason? He was a madman. He was very paranoid about betrayal. He was always very suspicious of, there was definitely someone leaking information, but it was not him. He
And
wouldn't do that.
was there like a mental illness, or was it a result of the sexual trauma that Henry suffered early on? Was there another mental or disorder he was facing?
Well, he was a psychopath.
A little
What
bit.
other was it? Because it was largely. because of the trauma. I mean, he grew up with no rules, no rules whatsoever, no timeouts, no, no put in the corner because you're misbehaving. He was allowed to run riot, and whatever he wanted, he got. If he was abusive, it was seen as funny by his caregivers. He was allowed to do anything he wanted. There was no punishment whatsoever. There was no boundaries around his behavior.
Did he kill animals early on in his childhood? You've often seen that trauma happen and then lead to further horrificness later in life.
He had horses put down that were not up to what he thought scratch. He just ordered the horses to be put down at a very young age. Like, I don't like that one. Put it down. And they had to do whatever he wanted.
Where was the trauma? Like, how many incarnations as a human had Henry VIII had? I'm trying to find
400.
that thread of, horrificness.
He's had about 400 lifetimes, but I wouldn't say that he's evolved much or ascended much.
Yeah, that's the problem I'm getting to. So, let's go into the life review. He dies at the end of his life, and who is there, and how long is this life review process, and what do they go over? Do they go over these are the deaths that you caused? Who is involved in that? Is it more than one entity?
Mm. So when you got there, who was there? His grandmother. Now he did love his grandmother. His grandmother did put in, or whoever he refers to as this grandmother, did put in boundaries around his behavior. And he knew that where he equaled the boundaries as, oh, she cares about me. Because the reality is, no one did really care about Henry VIII. That's why he was allowed to behave and just run around and do what he wanted to do, because everybody was quite disinterested in him. They were more interested in their own lives. And so what happened when you got to the life review and you saw that you killed and executed all those people? Like, what happened at that point? It was very, he doesn't have a lot of empathy. It was very matter of fact, very much like he had a job to do. He contracted all of that. Do you like that you've gone down in history in this way? He says no.
So there wasn't a lot of sadness about it, but I'm wondering about the life review entity. Who was that? Was it more than one person? And what was their previous? Let's talk about that. Who was the life review person?
It was someone from the board. Now, there is a board up there. They are the ones that make sure everyone's sticking to the rules, things like that. I don't think many souls do break the rules, to be honest with you. I don't see that. You guys know this. I've gone up to the board and shook my fist at them many times before because I don't like how things are always arranged and that we can't can change things. We are looking into that. Um, but my biggest question would be, where did he lose the empathy? Because he is completely disconnected from empathy, from, his soul. Every time he comes in as a human, he just is so removed from his soul. It's numbness. Now, that's similar to what we got for serial killers when we analyzed them before,
Well,
that
they
they
haven't killed as many as he did.
yeah, right. And we're able to get away with it. Of course. But they have zero feelings. They're completely numb. So a lot of times they go to these extremes in order to try to feel something. The only time he actually felt something was through sexual relations. but and the cruelty to others. But other than that, he was completely numb, completely devoid of emotions.
Did the life review expert have any feelings of, wow, this is a bad one during the process, or are they matter of fact about it too? Have they lost their own empathy for humanity?
Ooh, let's bring in the life review board member. Okay, I have them know that it was shocking. Okay, they're saying it was actually one of the most shocking cases they've ever had to deal with, and they
And
don't
what
know how to fix it.
why is there not a process so that this person or this entity or this soul can feel the weight of what they have done? Why can't we imbue that, or why can't you imbue that with them to feel the pain and suffering of those that they have inflicted this upon?
Why can't you? Because it's up to the soul, it's down to the individual to figure it out. They're not allowed to get involved. They're not really allowed to have judgment. The thing is, they were shocked by this, though.
Let me have judgment for you and say that I also am shocked for it. Is there no punishment for such heinous behavior?
No.
Why? Why not?
I mean, it's just racking up negative karma points. That's the punishment. And it will take, listen, if you want to talk about how not to ascend, this is the perfect example, Henry VIII, because he is going to have so many lifetimes, and he's sometimes he even feels like he's going backwards in the lifetime, he's regressing, but he barely makes any steps forward towards ascension.
Well, there's no rehabilitation process for souls. We're asking the agent that was involved with this. So why is there not a process to help try and rehabilitate these damaged souls?
Because the onus is on the soul itself.
But if it's too broken, how are we going to fix something this weighted? And I know I'm trying to petition the whole
Mm.
changing reincarnation cycle at this point, but just so we have somebody on board that might have a little bit of empathy for a struggle down here.
Well, I mean, they do have, see, what we deem as like counseling sessions is more of advisor sessions. At this point, he is so far down in the dark karmic hole. I don't know how he's going to get himself out. I mean, it may just be easier for his soul, not that I'm advocating for this, to just go to the dark and be done with it, right? Because but then of course, what they just said to me, yeah, but he does great for the system. You know, he inflicts terror upon people, he creates a lot of emotion. So even though he isn't in touch with any emotions and he is numb for the most part, he definitely he feeds the system in another way using the emotions of others.
And so, from the point of view of this board member that ran the life review of King Henry VIII, what have they done in the last 400, 500 years to deal with that? That their own trauma, that maybe was there any trauma that they developed by having to go through this life review? Did they have any flashbacks, or are they beyond that process being over there?
No, they didn't have any trauma. I mean, they just were found it a particularly shocking case. But did it traumatize them to the point that they took on dark energy? No.
But do they reflect on that? What is the process? Like, how do you process something to talking to someone like that? How does, as a life review expert, go through and say, I can go on with my day, but I talked to Henry VIII and now oh my God, what a horrible human.
Oh, how do you process a life review? I mean, you don't really. You don't process it. You just think, okay, this is interesting or this is different. This is a little shocking, but you don't really think too much about it. You don't have time. You're very busy. They're
A
only
lot of
thinking
paperwork.
about it now because we've asked them to think about it.
So how many life reviews is this expert going through in a week, in a day? Is it like, how long do they take? How long was Henry VIII? Was it longer than normal?
No, so in Earth plane time, how long is a life review? About 10 minutes in Earth plane
10
time.
minutes. The guy
Yeah.
killed 60,000 people. Let's just do 10 minutes chatting with him.
Yeah. Well, that's a standard review time.
I think it would should be longer if it were this guy.
No, it wasn't longer. And so what does that mean? It means like you receive your paper. This is your barcode. This
It
is
means
your
the system is broken, in my opinion.
yeah. Well, we know that.
I'm trying to understand it, and I appreciate you trying to help me put the pieces together, and just the pieces just don't fit, do they?
Mm-mm.
So if I mean, we're talking to a crazy person, someone that hasn't evolved beyond crazy person. So when they're in the non-incarnative state, are they less of a crazy person, or is that still crazy, like the other 400 incarnations of Henry VIII?
Are you still crazy when you are up there? He still carries that deficit with him, yes, to be played out. But I mean, do you get in touch with your feelings when you're in the spirit world? Not really. He is very disconnected.
Who's he hanging out with?
Who are you hanging out with? He doesn't really like to be around others. He says myself.
Has he beheaded any souls since he's crossed over?
He felt that was funny, and I did too. No, that's not allowed up there. But are you making more contracts to kill? No, no, he's not.
Has he been to any shows?
Mm. Have you been in any shows? No.
What's entertainment like over there?
What's entertainment like over there? He thinks it's quite boring. Are you going to come back in as an, 'cause something came through there. Are you going to come back in as an investigator? So at some point, he's going to come back as a homicide investigator. Maybe that will reconnect his emotions. But I got news for him. I'm telling him now, like, I used to work for the police. You come across that stuff day in and day out, you disconnect from your emotions. Like
Right.
it's not, you
It's not
don't
a
sit there.
recompense.
No, it's not like, oh my God, this was horrific. I mean, some of it is horrific, some of it can traumatize you. But if you think that you're going to sit there and fall apart and cry and over the homicide investigations that you're dealing with and reconnect your emotions and your empathy,
So when you crossed over, how much of your time was spent looking at your family on the other side, or did you just spend it all in the afterlife side?
did you look down on your family? I mean, he really didn't have any love for any of these people here on the earth plane, just like he doesn't have much love for anyone other than his grandmother in the spirit world.
Did
I
he love
mean,
any of his wives?
did you love? No.
Is there anyone he loved in his lifetime?
There was a dog that he loved, but he shot the dog. I mean, I don't get it. To be honest with you, for me and for you and for our normal audience out there, yes, you normal people, we're normal, aren't we? We don't do things like behead wives and shoot animals. He did have, for a fleeting moment, a love for a dog. Yes.
All right. Well, thank you very much, Liz. I'm not going to thank Henry VIII, but I'm going to thank each of you out there listening and wish you a wonderful summertime. Congratulations. You made it to another summer, and I hope you have a wonderful summer. Leave us a comment in the section below or hype the video, share it with a friend. We appreciate each one of you. And Liz, I appreciate you. Thanks very much.
Yeah. No, this was good because I think that this is the first time. Well, I know I've channeled Hitler and all of these, controversial people, but it's been a while since we had someone that is like serial killer, devoid of emotion. So, no, I appreciate this. I hope it gives everyone some insight into how he was. So,
Thank you
thank
very
you.
much.
Thank you. Don't forget, Miss Reality does have a tip jar listed down below. He put this together for us.